My name's Thomas Irving, and I'm the owner of Pool and Spa Superstore.
Well, damn, Thomas, it is good to have you here today. Glad to have you on the podcast. You and I met, a couple weeks ago, and I had some stuff that I needed to do to my pool, and you kind of jumped into the mix. And when we met, I was compelled by your story and just wanted to get you on the podcast. So I'm glad that you're here. So,
I really appreciate you having me.
yeah. Well, to get started, we usually want to hear a little bit about the person that we're talking to. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Where'd you go to high school? If you were, here local, did you go to college?
I did.
Give us some of the background. Are you married? Some of your backstory.
So I was born in Mobile. I went to Little Flower, and then I went to McGill Tooling. And from there, I went to Auburn, graduated in 2003 from Auburn. Moved back here, worked for Zante. Then I moved to Destin for a few years in my mid-20s, which wasn't a bad place to live in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Moved back, kind of fell into the pool business. Moved back to help family out, and my uncle was the controller at Pioneer Pool Products. Pioneer was a distribution center that had a small retail presence. They brought me in a couple of years. I was managing it. By year 4 or 5, I'd grown it about 60%. Talked the owner into renaming it Pool and Spa Superstore. And from then, just focused on bringing in the best products that I could, having jacuzzi, spas, Dream Maker, Doughboy pools, trying to grow a brand that is locally centered, focused on the customer experience, on education, and making pools, something that's not stressful, something that's relaxing, something that adds to the quality of the homeowner's life.
Yeah.
Married.
You're going off on tangents, so I'm going to get you back on track.
Married. I've been married for 10 years now. And we have 2 children. I've got Lily will be 7 on the 27th. Nice. And then Thomas will be just turned 3 in January.
Yeah, very cool. And what did you study at Auburn?
Marketing.
And did you graduated?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And because we've interviewed people that don't have high school degrees, and we've interviewed people that have multiple PhDs. And so it's just curious to see where people are, because I find that oftentimes it doesn't really make a differst.
College to me really was just learning how to be a responsible human. Pay my bills, and so I was 17 when I started living on my own. And I really, so I graduated McGill in 97, went up to Auburn and worked in the bar industry and worked in kitchens, which was a life skill that I really appreciate, being able to cook. Something that I still do to this day, and something that I can do to block out everything else and just focus on what's in front of me. So I really enjoy that.
I don't meet many guys that are that way. Although if you look at chefs, they are mostly male.
Yeah.
And so, but I love, I'm the cook in our, I won't say chef.
Right.
I'm the cook in our home. And there's something very poetic, I guess, is the best word that I can come up with on demand, but kind of poetic or magical about when you're in the kitchen and things are just kind of flowing and you're in the zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that I also have some experience in the restaurant industry as well.
Cool.
From where you back when, probably about the same time that you were doing it, and just found that, man, it's just an enjoyable thing.
It is, and 2, I think it's a way to show your appreciation and love, like you're caring for somebody else.
So you're a Jewish grandmother,
right?
Insert ethnicity there. Italian grandmother,
right?
My mom's Brazil, so Brazilian grandmother. She won't let me leave without trying to feed me 15 ways from Sunday. So, but now go back to your first job. And were there any lessons that you still remember from it? Because you spoke about the restaurant industry, but even back the first real job that you had, what would you take away from that?
I mean, just responsibility, showing up on time, working while you're there. My first few jobs were mainly manual labor. But I think it kind of too taught me that. I mean, at my heart, I'm still a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You have experience and you get older, but you're still that same person in there. So learning how to be around older people, and all different kinds of people.
Hmm.
Even when I tell people when I first got my job I got out of college, I'm like, all right, this is my big boy job, and like this is, everything's going to be different. It was a lot resemblance of high school. Everybody's kind of trying to figure out where they fit in, what groups they fit into.
Yeah.
So I mean, but then also they were sending me out to run trade shows out on the West Coast. So doing sales, but also organization, being a team leader, skills that I still use to this day.
Yeah. I My very first real job, if you will, after college was inside sales, and I was let go from that job after a year. Not necessarily because of anything that I did. It was a new company, and I think they made, if I remember correctly, zero sales the year
Wow.
that I was there. And they had some, I mean, they had some heavy hitters. Like one of the guys that I worked with had a check on his wall from Ford Company for $187,000.
Wow.
And that was one commission check. That was not the workplace that we were at. That was a
Right.
previous employer. But still, I mean, it just goes to show like these were technology salespeople, and they had achieved quite a lot. And so after a year, I was let go. And I remember that the sales manager, took me to lunch, and he was like, I really feel bad about this, but I also want to give you some guidance because I think that would be helpful. And he told me you would be much better in marketing than you would be in sales. And I don't know. I just, I took that with me. And I think he was right in a lot of ways because, marketing kind of straddles that sales line where
Sure.
we are pre sales, right? I'm not, closing necessarily people, for clients, but, in advertising, you're warming them up and letting people know that that they exist so that they can go and purchase.
I really, even in sales, I tell people all the time, I don't consider myself a salesman.
I'm an educator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you know better than I do what's going to be good for you. I want to give you all the information so you make the best choice for you. And sometimes even that's a choice that, you shouldn't get this pool. Maybe it's this hot tub, or maybe, looking at investing in your backyard in another way and then getting the pool later.
Yeah.
Sales are cyclical. I know it's going to keep coming in. I have faith in our product. I have faith in my guys. We want to have a relationship with somebody where they're doing the best thing for themselves and they keep coming back. And then they have a good story to tell other people to bring other people in. Mobile is such a word of mouth who, that people trust their friends more than they're ever going to trust somebody they don't know.
Right.
But that's to me the biggest thing that I'll try to do is build trust.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you gave us a little bit of history about how you started the business and stuff. Anything else that you'd like to add to that story, or?
I had I'd swam in a pool before. I had no idea
Yeah,
what I was getting into.
yeah,
There's a lot more to it than that. But some of the people that I met in there, while two of the guys that I still have a very strong relationship, we're all three from very different walks of life. We all three have different views on the world, different politics, different education, but that moral compass that of how we view our role as men, as fathers, as husbands, and just I guess just citizens
the
of this
world.
town, of the
Yeah, yeah,
world. So it's I still to this day, if I'm uncomfortable or don't think need to bounce something off this, those are still two guys that I call
yeah. That's
and
cool.
ask.
Now, you said that your desire is to educate people and help them, understand, not just whether they should have a pool or not, but once they've got the pool, take some of the mystery away from how to care for this thing. And I don't know, not many people have pools, but there's going to be a number of people that do. And, I just have to say, as somebody that is a first time pool owner, um, there, there is a lot confusing to it,
Sure.
but it's also not terribly difficult.
No, I think if you're looking, look, anything, if you look at the mountain, that it seems insurmountable, but it's just one step at a time,
Yeah.
and I think the most important part about any body of water, whether that's what's coming out of your faucet or your shower or what's in a hot tub or a pool, is the filtration,
Yeah.
turning that over. I tell people all the time, think of a river, it's clear, it's always running. Think of a pond or a lake, it's stagnant, can't see the bottom of it. The
Yeah.
more that you can treat or remove what you need to treat, the less sanitization, less chemicals you have to put into it.
Yeah.
Flow, having a big enough filter, a big enough pump, and then the biggest thing is running it enough. Everything's going to variable speed pumps now, but if running your pump 24 hours a day during especially July and August is another 20, 30, even if it's $100 more a month,
Yeah.
that bill still comes to you. You're going to pay it the same way.
Mhm.
If you have a problem you got to fix, now you got to come to me or you got to go somewhere, you got to buy the chemicals. It's going to be $300
It's
or
gonna be way
more.
Yeah.
And then you got to spend that time
Yeah.
and you have to be consistent in it. You can't do half of it and then 3 days later do the other. If you just stay on top of it and stamp it out to be able to move on.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, it just pops back up.
exactly.
We've been fortunate. I mean, I know in northern states, a lot of people have to close their pools. We don't down here. If you're listening to this from outside of the area, but we don't down here. And I've just left. We've lived there for, gosh, has it been 3 years? Wow, it's been 3 years, a little
Time
over 3 years. I
flies.
know it flies. So we've lived there for over 3 years, and I usually just leave the pump running, and I've not had any real issues. It's a saltwater pool. I have to add some salt every once in a while, and
Sure.
maybe a little bit of other stuff just to keep the levels current. But it's never been anything other than clear.
Right. Yeah. I mean, running it, that's the
Yeah,
secret. That's really shouldn't be a secret.
yeah.
You just run the
It's
pool.
not. It's not a scary thing. Just keep it running. And then having somebody like yourself in your back pocket that when something goes wrong, like I had a sand filter, for those that are curious, I had a filter that just burst on the seams, which seems odd after less than 3 years.
It should not have happened.
No, it should not have happened. And wasn't, I can't imagine that being installer error. I think Jandy, which is the brand, just
Yeah.
had really shitty products during COVID, and I just happened to get one of those.
Yeah.
So so like it's not a terribly difficult thing, but man, the enjoyment that I get out of that thing. I mean, even cleaning the damn thing is fun.
Like
for
the
me.
cooking. It's
Yeah,
something
I mean, it
that's
really is.
like, meditation. You
I
can
just
sit out
go
there.
out and it's quiet. I'm in the backyard. The birds are singing.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of scooping out some leaves or doing something, throwing the robot in and letting it go. Or, I mean, it's really not.
I tell the guys that work for me all the time, I get jealous. I love stocking product because you get done with it and you can see immediate, like there it is. And it's just, you're not having to think about crazy things or being thrown off. You're just doing a simple task. And there's a lot of joy in that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of connection. And again, you can just kind of not have to think
That's
crazy.
one of the reasons why advertising is such a difficult business is because it's
Yes.
never done.
Never just straightforward all the way.
Yeah, it's not finished. Even websites, when we finish them, they're not really, they're not done because they just continue to morph. So
My mom told me about that. The first house I ever got, I was such in a rush to get this and get this done. She's like, "Why are you trying?" I was like, "Because I want to be done."
yeah,
And she said, "Thomas,
it's
you're never done. You're
Yeah.
never done."
Yeah, you're never done. So now, do you remember, and I mean, it's a little bit different because you were kind of in this business before you bought the business. But do you remember the first time that you made a sale or had something happen where you thought, hey, man, there might be something to this?
Yeah, I mean, with even in previous jobs, just having the confidence, like I think there's with anything you do when you are in the right moment at the right time, and there's a special connection there.
Yeah.
When I really, a lot of the stuff that I was taught or shown, I do not do it that same way. I've kind of put my own stamp on it.
Right.
And I always try to think from the customer perspective. Um, and one of the best joys of what we do is having people come back because we build a relationship with somebody and they come back to get the chemicals or get their water testing and to know that they're using it with their family, or they're having parties there, or exercise. It's helped their health. That's very rewarding.
Yeah.
But when I do remember, we used to sell pool kits, in-ground kits that a lot of people have somebody that can dig a hole and they know somebody that can do some plumbing or electrical. A very basic kit is not something that's terribly complicated to put in.
Yeah.
But now with the internet and HGTV and Pinterest and, everybody wants something that's not too basic. So we don't do a lot of that anymore.
What was the show on HGTV? It was like Pool Masters or something along
Something
those lines.
like that, or like $1 million pools.
I was watching this thing and I'm like, they're spending more on the plants than I spend on my pool. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty insane.
Which is something that I do tell people too, is when you're looking at pictures of hot tubs or pools, they always show it, you're staring straight down on it. That is never the view that you're going to have. A lot of times it's better to do something a little bit smaller and invest in the surroundings because it's almost a lot of pools these days I think are more of a focal of your backyard landscaping with the water features, with the lights.
It's not just a hole in the ground that you go get wet.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it. If you were talking to someone that wanted to get started in running their own business, what's the one bit of wisdom that you would impart to them?
Talk to your friends, talk to other business owners, and you can't do it by yourself. You got to get a good team. I mean, I'm very extremely lucky in the team that I have. The first thing I did when I had the opportunity to buy it was I went to them and they were super excited about it. And that made my decision. No way I would have had the courage to do it if I didn't have a good team.
Yeah, because finding good people that know about pools is not easy.
It's tough. And really, I would rather you be motivated and have a strong moral compass and have an ego that you have pride in what you do.
Yeah.
I can teach the pool stuff. I can't teach you to want it. I can't teach you to work hard when nobody's looking.
Amazing point. Yeah.
And, but there's so much with accounting and taxes and that, I thought from running the place for 20 years that, this will be a little extra paperwork and a little extra time.
Nope.
7 days a week from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed.
Yeah, there's just something about being the owner.
And you got to want it. If you don't really want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's your life.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's, it's almost like having kids or something. There's no preparation for that. I mean, I've walked a number of people, through some early stages of, owning businesses. And it's amazing what people will get wrapped around the axle about. And I'm like, listen, this is something that you really just have to do once and then you'll never have to do it again. Whereas this other thing over here is something that's going to make or break the cash flow of the business. Yeah. And that is where you want to put more time and energy and focus and, learn those processes instead of, something that is never going to come up again.
And I totally agree with that. I also think that you've got to do it your way. It's got to be yours. It's got to be a reflection of yourself. People buy from people. A lot of times when I'm selling pools or hot tubs, we spend 10% of the time talking about the features. We get to talking about, who your family is, what you're doing, make that connection with somebody. And again, building trust. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If I lose a sale, I can live with that. I love questions. Ask them. Yeah. So I don't know what you don't know, and I want to be secure. And I also tell my guys to pick your customers. Somebody comes in off the bat and they're a handful we haven't even sold them $1 yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're probably going to be a handful for
forever. And you may never make them happy. Yeah. But if you dig somebody and you get along right off the bat, throw in something or tell them that. Yeah. Tell them, man, I want you as a customer. What do I need to do to get you as a customer? I feel like we mesh. I want to do business with you. I want to build a relationship with you.
Yeah. Before we came in today, I was watching one of my new addictions on YouTube is Dave's Auto.
I haven't seen it.
I wouldn't expect that you have. But Dave's Auto Center is, Dave, if you're out there, I know you're not going to listen to this, but if you're out there, Dave's is located in Utah, if I remember correctly. And the reason why I even bring that up is because this is a show about diesel mechanics. I have never, nor will I ever own a diesel truck.
Right.
But there's just something really fascinating about this. This morning, he was talking to a guy who had bought a salvage title truck and had brought it in because he was having some issues with it. And they were looking it over and basically told him the honest truth. And that's how, they run that business. And basically told the guy, like, we can try and do a few things, but we can't warranty it, nor would we suggest that. If you want to go and do something, then this other thing over here is really what you need to do, or you just do this small thing and drive the wheels off of it.
Right.
And because the truck had all kinds of problems with it and stuff. And ultimately they did an alignment, and the guy was like, okay, well, I know what I'm dealing with now. I'm just going to drive it per your instructions. And when something, comes up, I know I have a mechanic that I can trust who's not going to just try and sell me X, whatever that X part is, at several $1,000s.
Right.
Right. And I think that's what we're all looking for, especially in today's day and age where retail has become such a transaction.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot of relationship building in retail right now. And if you own a retail shop, you need to train your people to build these relationships.
Invest in your people. Make them know that you care about them and keep them.
If they don't care, then they're not going to care about that client that walks through the door, and it's going to show. Yes. And that's why you go into places and they don't address you properly, or they don't even look at you, or they don't take you to where the product is, or they don't explain what it is, or they get your order wrong.
They're on their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I see that it's too. I feel like we are very digitally disconnected. Mm-hmm. There's a lack of just basic interactional human skills. And, it's, I see it from both sides where, if you got a retail guy who's he's just a name or a number to his boss. He knows he can't barely pay his bills. He's not being trained or invested in. And if you have somebody else and already expecting to be treated like that, so then they kind of have their guard up, and it escalates. It goes back and forth. I tell my guys, if somebody comes in, do not escalate. If you can't get through to somebody, come get me and I'll talk to them. There's no need to get your whole day ruined off of somebody you don't even know,
right.
And you don't know what's going on in their life either.
No,
they may have just had some terrible news or their experience with coming into pool places. They've been lied to, they've been sold stuff they don't need. So they're already weary of you. You've got to gain that trust first. And a lot of times if you listen and you don't react, people, it's no fun being ugly. And just let them get that off, and they typically will settle back down. And then a lot of our really good lifelong customers came from a bad situation, and then we fixed it and solved it. Now we have that trust, and now we have that personal connection. And I'm Thomas, I'm not the pool guy.
Right.
And so then we got a relationship, it's personal. It's really, to me, it's really hard to dislike people, that you don't know. You just have a thought in your head. That's what you're disliking. It's not the person. You barely even know
them. Yeah. It's, I'm going to say this is not from
Sure.
you, but our experience with pool builders in this area has been absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to respond, but I just want to go on record as saying, like, I don't know of a good pool builder in Mobile. You may know of one.
I know of a few. There's a lot of people that are doing stuff that is above what their knowledge is.
Yeah.
The biggest problem, though, to me, is organizational and people answering their phone and showing up when they said they're going to show up, and not avoiding that tough conversation and putting it off, and then it makes a terrible situation. Have that conversation straight up and lay out expectations for somebody, and then do what you say.
Yeah.
But you were right. It is frustrating.
And I was actually going to say that because I was, the one thing that I think pool builders, home builders, anybody that's doing something custom like that, communication becomes key. And one of the things that we've learned, because our business is not so different than building a pool, we have processes that we have to go through, but we also use things to communicate with people. And it also helps keep track of the project and make sure that nothing gets missed. And, but I understand why people would come in and, kind of be on guard, because it's
Sure.
like, if you just spent whatever, 50, 100, 150, 500, $750,000, whatever it was
For
on
your
a pool.
family. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like we had a situation where this thing, split. If I had been the purchaser of the equipment, I would have probably been able to get it covered under warranty. But because I could not get my pool builder to respond to me, he owns the warranty because of who he is.
Right.
So now I'm stuck in this situation where I can't even go to the manufacturer. I have to go to the pool builder. And if he doesn't, if he's not in business, or he's not a reputable guy, or he's just not, doing his job, then, I'm kind of out,
Yes.
and so it's just, it's frustrating. So I certainly understand, but I also just want to, like caution people, if you're out there considering a pool, like do your, do your homework. Cause man, I just, you could really get stuck in. This is not a small investment. I mean, like the
Right.
average pool is probably going to be about $100,000 now.
Gunite for sure.
Gunite, I'm
You
sorry.
know,
If you're
liner,
doing a fiberglass or a liner, it's going to be a lot
liner,
cheaper.
you're going to start out at like 45 or 50.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is still
fiberglass
not cheap.
65, 80. No way.
And so, when you're investing that much money and then you don't get the kind of service that's needed to go along with this, like even just explaining, like you should get a 30-minute or an hour-long
At
class
least.
on how to take care of the pool.
At least. Yes.
And so oftentimes these guys are just wanting to pawn you off on a pool care company. And I'll tell you this, we hired the pool company that the guy that we had build our house suggested. And I have him on camera. He came out in a month. He came out twice. And both times he was there for about 5 minutes. He looked in the pool, dropped some chlorine pucks into the skimmer, and, kind of walked around, maybe like scooped a leaf or two
Right.
out and walked out.
Yeah.
I
hear it at least weekly,
Yeah.
if not daily, the same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One advantage that we have is because we were part of a distribution center, and because we've been in it for so long, if you have your information, we can typically go to the distribution center and get that invoice. They can't give us the contractor's information or his
No.
pricing, but we have a relationship with Hayward or Jandy or Pentair, where a lot of times we can get that warranty done and help people out.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had called you 6 months, ago. So, now, are there any books, podcasts, people, or organizations, you don't have to name all, but is there something, that have been helpful in moving you forward?
There's the internet, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about there's pros and cons, because I feel like with the internet, half of it, you can throw it away. It's total nonsense. The half that you have, about half of that's trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be fraudulent, but it's showing their marketing their product. So now you got 25% left. What amount of that is marketing or teaching, educating towards our area? Because a pool in Mobile is going to be way different than a pool in Seattle or Connecticut or Arizona. So I really, finding your local guy is one thing, and having a relationship with them. But we're actually thinking about starting a YouTube channel where we have tips and tricks.
Absolutely should. Don't even think about it. Just do it.
And we do have a pretty thick pool school that we put together. The biggest thing is just simple vocabulary, because somebody could be saying, well, it's a skimmer, but is it a skimmer basket, an automatic cleaner, the bag on the automatic cleaner, the net, the leaf rake? There's a lot of, or calling a pump a filter, or calling a motor the pump. So we have a section that just goes over that. And I would also, where you can get stuff anywhere now, but if you're going to buy chlorine or algicide, even if you don't buy it from us, buy your chlorine and algicide from a pool store. Don't get it from Costco or Walmart,
or it does degrade over time, and
big time.
sure it's fresh.
Or Or so shock, what we sell, most of what we sell is calcium hypochlorite. It's 73%. If you buy shock from Walmart or Costco or Sam's or wherever, it could be calcium hypochlorite, but it could be anywhere from 40. Usually it's like 40 to 60%.
Yeah.
Big difference. It could be trichlor, which is just like ground up tablets. That's not shock at all. It could be sodium dichlor. It could be potassium monopersulfate. There's a lot of different stuff it could be. And then algae is not all the same either. We have a lot of mustard algae in this area. Mustard algae will spread off of oxygen. Sanitizer is an oxidizer. So you throw shock in there, it's gone.
Yay!
2 days later, boom.
Yeah.
Now it comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
So having the right stuff. We do free water testing. We have that pool school that we hand out. We're gonna start that YouTube channel, and then we'll
phrasing that.
And then
we're gonna start.
We're gonna do it.
Marcus said we have to.
And then we also we're going to do something where every 4 months or so we have like an event at our place, and you can show up there and we'll go over just the basics of how to take care of your system. Yeah. It's like you said earlier, it's really not that complicated, but you got to know what you have and then find the right person to walk you through it.
Yeah. What's the most important thing that you've learned about running a business?
Having a good team, consistency, and you have to want to do it. I mean, it's your life. To me, to be successful, especially in starting it, I mean, you got to want it.
Yeah, you got to want it bad.
And you have to, if you're waking up every morning and going, shit, then maybe this isn't for you.
Rethink your life decisions.
Yeah.
Because, people, I think, sometimes start and they're just like, well, I don't want to fail. And it's like, well, failure isn't failure. We should fail. We should fail every day, often, it's a matter of analyzing the situation and going, yes, I can do this. I just don't want to. Or yes, I can do this and it's going to be hard, but I need to buckle down and get it done. Or, no, man, this doesn't make any sense. This isn't something I want to do. The money's not there. The market isn't there. Right. I misjudged something.
We recalculate.
And that's fine. Don't spend the rest of your life beating your head up against the brick.
Like you were saying, it's like having a child. It's consistency. Yeah. Showing up and being consistent and loving it. Yeah. I mean, that's the main things.
How do you like to unwind?
Lately I have not had that chance. I love to, I'm terrible at golf. But I
would not have pictured you as a golf player, but okay.
I like to go out with, my friends are not terrible. I like to go out with them, and, I'm very lucky in the friendships that I have. I have a lot of my guys that I've known for over 30 years. Oh, cool. And so spending time with them, just, teasing each other, making fun of each other, saying awful things to each other.
Well, they know you. They know who you are. They know the real you. So it's easy.
I love to travel. To travel. Yeah.
Well, you're going to write this next section because I've got 12 rapid fire questions for you. Right. So just quick answers. What's your favorite type of music?
Man, I was actually talking about this with somebody the other day because I grew up on 90s rap, Outkast, gangster rap type stuff. Right now, what I'm listening to mainly, Jason Isbell, Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson.
Okay. Going a little country?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite type of food?
I love steak, but I love Italian food. And I mean, we're in the right place for seafood too.
So I'm going to ask that was my second question. This is 2.5. So I'm having 13 questions here. Right. But what do you like to make the most?
Something new. I love trying stuff. Yeah. I love anything with Connect and shrimp.
Yeah.
I'll throw together and make something awesome.
It's funny as for New Year's, I didn't grow up in the South, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so I had never made collards.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'm going to make collards and greens and black-eyed peas.
Yeah.
And so I made the collards, which I'm familiar with beans, so that was like I got that,
Right.
being Brazilian. But the collards was something, and I just found a recipe. I made some small modifications. Man, they were the best collards I've ever had, and it wasn't because I made it. They literally legitimately were
That's
the
the
best
best.
collards,
Where
and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
my
But
wife will give me a recipe and I'll look at it and go, okay. And she's like, well, you gotta, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
When I looked at that, I know how to kind of do it and I'm gonna add
once
this
you
kind of
have an
stuff to
understanding,
it.
the basic components, you can
Exactly.
riff on it. So, what's your favorite restaurant in Lower Alabama?
Oh, I used to love Osmond's. Unfortunately, they've
I
closed.
never went there. I never got a chance.
Poor Baby out in West
Oh man,
Mobile.
yeah,
I love going
it
there.
is my favorite restaurant in Lower Alabama. Favorite city outside of Mobile?
Oh man, Amsterdam. Love Amsterdam. Rome's another one.
Very cool.
And not a city, but an island, Roatan, Honduras. I grew up going there
Yeah,
every summer. I've had aunt that ran a dive resort there,
really,
so that's where I took my wife when we got engaged. It's a great place.
that's cool. City you want to travel to but have yet to visit?
I have not been to Canada, Toronto and yeah, I've been all over Europe. I've been to the west, I've been northeast,
Yeah,
northwest, through South America. Have not been to Canada.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, that's an easy one, but also a very beautiful country to visit during the summer.
Right.
We're not used to that cold down here. So, what comes to mind when I say guilty pleasure?
Um Watching mindless TV,
Yeah.
or eating anything with chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, chocolate peanut butter ice cream is
Yeah.
definitely on my list. So, dogs, cats, or none of the above.
Dogs.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
I ask a pool guy, which is better, summer or winter. Favorite movie or TV show?
Ooh, right now I'm watching Peaky Blinders, and I just rewatched Game of Thrones. Um, love The Sopranos too.
Nice. Yeah. Favorite holiday other than Christmas?
Thanksgiving food,
I hear that, man. Who does the turkey in your house?
me.
There you go. Favorite color
Blue.
and favorite cereal?
Ooh, mm, I like uh, Frosted Flakes with marshmallows in it.
Okay.
Yeah, hard to find every once in a while.
Says the buff, bearded dude. I like frosted
Right,
flakes with marshmallows
marshmallows.
in it, man. What are you gonna say? I love it. So now back, on track. What are you most thankful for?
My kids. No, I mean, we took a lot to get my kids here.
Yeah.
And there's my daughter's my favorite person that's ever lived, but it's not even close. And my son, I just I feel like I have this telepathic connection with him. Um, we I always wanted to have a son, and like I said, it took a lot to
To
get
get
my
them here.
children
Yeah.
here, and but I'm also, because it took so much. There's never a time where I feel like I have to do something. I get to
Yeah.
do something with them.
I can tell just, I mean, we haven't, I mean, we have literally, you were working at the house for a little bit and, here you are. But even in just that little bit, I mean, like it very much translates that you love
Thank
your
you.
family and love your kids.
I
So,
think the best compliment I can give to any man is he's a good father.
yeah, absolutely. I can tell that from you. So, well, to close up, where can people find out more about your services and supplies and stuff?
We're building out our website. We do have a landing page now,
Cool.
mypoolandspa.com. Our Facebook, we're very active on Facebook. And we have March 24th, we're having our grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony.
Very cool.
Tons of sales there. But just anytime people want to come by, 2381 Dawes. I really come in the store, get to meet my guys. I do not have any cancer that works for me. All my guys are cool, down to earth, easy to talk to, and they
Oh,
all want to help.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the podcast. To wrap up, any final thoughts or comments you'd like to share?
I appreciate it. In meeting you for, the little time that we spent together. I mean, I could tell you care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You like to see other people have success. And
You
um,
have no idea.
that isn't that a happier way to live? I mean, I'm not
I don't
somebody.
understand people
I
that
do
don't.
not get it.
Yeah, I just don't. Because I mean, like I just love people succeeding.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes me like joyful.
Yeah.
I don't even care how much success. Like even Elon is like, hey man, he just merged his that's awesome,
Right.
man. I'm like, $1 trillion, you go, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like if I don't root for him, how am I going to root for myself?
And
Like,
that's, I think, the best adjective to use is joyful.
Yeah.
Like it's not just happy; it's that like
Yeah, no,
visceral
absolutely.
feeling.
Well, thank you for saying that because that means a lot too. So, well, Thomas, I appreciate your willingness to sit with me and share your journey as a business owner and entrepreneur, man. It's been great talking
I
with you.
appreciate it, Marcus. It was a pleasure coming here.
Yeah.